Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow and Extreme Health Club.
Hello, and welcome to Tell Me About It Sports Show. I am Trevent Hayes, and I'm with KY Sports TV. This is going to be our new local sports show, and we're going to cover all sports, male and female, in the area, as well as across the state. We will not be limited to just high school or middle school. We're even going to go down to the Little League system.
Yeah, I'm James Brown with 104thescore.com. My primary focus on the Score is covering Barren County, Glasgow, and Caverna. With Trevent involvement in Hart County, we're going to include them in our weekly coverage here on Tell Me About It. But of course, then Tony brings in kind of a state kind of experience for us.
Yes, my primary role will be to travel across the state in a number of different regions and areas on the local level as well as the collegiate level.
And this is going to be our first episode, and on this episode we will be interviewing the coaches from Glasgow, Barren, Hart, and Caverna, both boys and girls, giving a preview of the district tournament, getting some questions and just getting some sit-down time talk with the coaches to see how they feel about the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, with Barren and Glasgow, of course, they're playing in the 15th district, which also includes Warren East and Allen County, Scottsville. Those brackets are set. Then, of course, Hart and Caverna play in the 18th district, which is in the 5th region, totally different region. Gives us a little wider breadth of coverage, and Tony's been shooting video and taking photos for years across the state, but also with a lot of coverage of Caverna, Hart, Barren, and Glasgow through the years. Is that not right, Tony?
That's right. We've gotten to watch a lot of these players come up from the middle school now into the high school level. So it's been fun to watch their progress.
Yeah. Trevent, so what is our ambition with this show?
Well, I think our ambition will be to really highlight our local athletes. Hart, Caverna, Barren, and Glasgow. We really don't have a consistent state level avenue to get these kids out there. Mm-hmm. The Bowling Green area, as well as above Hart County, has the Sporting Times, and they cover all the local schools: Warren Central, Warren East, Bowling Green, Elizabethtown, John Hardin. But what we'd like to do is we would like to put our primary focus on these kids. We have a lot of great athletes in the area, even dating back 50 years. Some of the best athletes in the state of Kentucky came from this area. And that's our goal. We want to show these kids that there is a community behind you, and we're willing to put the work in. As long as they're willing to put the work in, we're willing to put the work in to get those kids promoted.
It's ironic that you mentioned 50 years because it was 50 years ago WKU made a run to the Final Four with predominantly players from Glasgow, Barren County, Allen County, Hart, Caverna guys.
Yes.
So it was almost all local team, and that just tells you what kind of talent has existed in this area.
Well, now we're going to take a quick break, and when we return back to action, we'll be previewing the district tournament, upcoming district tournament for the Barren and Glasgow district, as well as Caverna and Hart County.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back. We're going to briefly talk about the 18th district matchups that's going to happen here in about a week and a half, and then we'll kind of look, at some of the other districts in the 5th region. On the girls' side, I think that Caverna will play.
They'll be playing the one seed,
which is Green, I think.
Yep.
And Hart will play LaRue.
Mm-hmm.
And on that girls' side, I think the best girls player in the 18th district is Dia Bradley.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, a question. And I think that if there is one team that can be led by one player, that Hart County, if Dia Bradley gets hot, she could pretty much, kind of win a game by herself.
Yeah, when you look at that 18th on the girls' side, you basically have 3 teams that have a really good player, and then you have a good team.
Right.
Greene County's a good team. Now, they do have a couple of good players, but I think the other 3 teams actually have a better individual basketball player when you talk about Kayleana Richardson at Caverna, but just the rest of the team around them's not good enough right now to really kind of compete with what Green's putting out there. Although you are right, Dia Bradley is like a workhorse in every possible way for the Lady Raiders. She could pull an upset in the game.
What do you think is stronger in this time, having a solid player or a solid team when it comes down to tournaments like this?
I think you've got to have a few solid players because, as the old saying goes, when the popcorn starts popping, a lot of these kids, they fold under pressure. So you've got to have a kid that's got experience that can go out and control the tempo of a game by themselves.
Well, and these days in high school basketball, if you don't have somebody who can get their own shot, then you're struggling to score. And so, but on the flip side of that, on the defensive side, you need 5 people who can to provide the defense that you need. And if you've got some weakness in that area, and I think that's what happens with Hart and LaRue and Caverna, is on the defensive end. They may have a good player offensively, but they're not necessarily great at defending another team because they just don't have those players that can really defend.
So in that situation, who do you think will be the favorites?
Green.
Yeah, I think it's Green because they do both. They can score as a team. They have a couple of good players, but they defend as a team probably better than the other 3 just because of the capability of playing defense that they have.
On the boys' side, it's going to be LaRue County will face Hart County, and Caverna will face Greene County. I am a Caverna graduate, but there's no way I can say Caverna's the favorite to win that district because they're not. I mean, LaRue County's playing as good of basketball as anybody in the state of Kentucky right now.
They've been 20 points better than everybody in the district this year.
Everybody. And they've also beaten
George Rogers
Clark, the defending state champions.
Yeah.
They've beaten some really high-quality teams. But, in 1993, we were the number 1 seed, and LaRue County shot 80%. I'm sorry, Greene County shot 80% in the first half against us. So anything could happen. We were, everybody wanted to see Caverna and Marion County in the finals of the region, and we didn't make it out of the district. So anything can happen.
That is the thing about these districts, man. When you've got this one game and you go home or you move on kind of situation, and as it's set up here, you can have some real stunners in these first rounds.
Who do you think is the sleeper? Who would be the sleeper in the district who might upset some folks?
I mean, again, I try not to be biased, but, I'd have to say Caverna is definitely a sleeper team. They've got all the pieces. They've got the big man, Mika Tier. They've got all the pieces around him. And, with the twins, Kenyon and Tyson Martin, they're physical. They play defense. They control the glass. And if Desmond, I think the key to that Caverna team is Des Rowlett. If Des Rowlett hits his first 2 or 3 shots, it can be a long night. And on the flip side, if he misses his first 2 or 3 shots, then his confidence kind of goes down. But once he learns how to play with confidence the whole game, I think if Des Rowlett gets started, Caverna can really beat anybody in the region.
Well, what do you think is, for teams that have younger players, how do they perform in postseason? How well do you think that the younger players step up when the pressure's on?
I mean, you look at I'm really not familiar with a lot of the younger players outside of the kids at Caverna, But you look at Jalen Crane, and he played on the EYBL circuit for a little while as a younger kid, so he's played against some of the best competition in the country. I don't think that he'll back down from competition, and James has been to several games to watch Caverna play, and I kind of like it when the opposing players talk trash to Jalen. It's like a switch turns on, and he just loses it.
I'll tell you a kid for Caverna at least that I think could have an impact in the postseason would be Russell Williams. Because he can shoot outside, he's got the size, and he's become a more aggressive player on both ends of the floor, which sometimes gets him in foul trouble, but also he causes some havoc, forcing turnovers and that kind of stuff. He may be a kid, if they want to really not just get out of the district but make some noise in the region, he may be the one that they need to find some room for, because he's also going to be the one least scouted when you get to that regional tournament.
Yeah. After a little brief discussion about the 5th region, let's move on down to the 4th region. James, you have a little more experience with these teams. Your knowledge is definitely better than mine because I don't get to go out to watch the 4th region.
Well, let's start out with that 15th district tournament because as we were discussing in the prior segment about the 18th district, in the girls' side for the 15th district, the Barren County girls have been basically 20 points better than everybody else in the district. And despite losing Macy Lockhart to a knee injury, one of their 2 seniors, and it's a key loss to them, for their greater ambitions in the region itself. But in the last couple of weeks, they've found ways to overcome that loss. Now, immediately afterward, they struggled offensively. They had a real hard time, but they've gotten Katie Geralds and Katie Elmore have come in and really filled in, and they've got, I think, Taylor Strange and Ann Ashley Atkinson have gotten on the floor some, a couple of freshmen who they've called on. So they've kind of gotten right back to where we thought they would be. And then, of course, on Monday night, they played Bowling Green. The final was 48-44. Great game. Now, Mid-O-Tisdale was out.
But that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that Meadow-Tisdale was hurt, but I watched that game, and I feel like Barren County was about 5 free throws away from upsetting Bowling Green.
Yeah, they didn't close quite as well. The score was 44 all, and they missed a free throw, and then I think Bowling Green got a basket and then hit the free throws at the end. But yeah, it does bode well. We've seen them overcome that injury to Macy and see what they're capable of doing. And then in the rest of the district, you got Allen County and Glasgow will be the 2-3. Barren will play Warren East in the first round. Warren East has not won a district game, so they've clearly been the 4 seed in that district.
How big will it be for the culture of Glasgow if first-year head coach Coach Kirkpatrick wins that first game in the district, and saying Barren County wins, big rivalry, finals of the district, but her actually having a chance to go on and play in the regional tournament as her first year as coach?
The interesting thing about Kelsey Kirkpatrick as a coach is she's a gym rat coach. She grew up in the gym. Her dad was a high school basketball coach. He assists her now. And so in terms of knowing what it takes from a player perspective to win that game in the first round, she's been there, done that, won all the trophies for it and all that jazz too. And so I guess the key is, and these players actually have some experience. They only have 3 seniors, but they've played quite a bit. I think it would be significant for the younger players. Now, for the older players, they've kind of been in this grind for a little bit, and it would be significant for them too, just because this has been their objective, and so I think that would be key.
Well, outside of the district, it is what it is, but I feel like that the regional championship goes through Bowling Green on the boys and girls side, both sides. Bowling Green, Meadow-Tisdale, I actually spoke to Meadow at the game Monday night. She's going to rest. I think she's going to be fine. Bowling Green, Coach Head at Bowling Green has done a phenomenal job coaching these girls. He's been to the state tournament, I think, three times maybe. But I think everything has to go through Bowling Green.
Yeah, I would say this one thing about that particular situation is for the last 4 years, it's basically been Bowling Green and Barren County. Now, I know Bowling Green played Franklin Simpson in the championship game last year, but that's because Bowling Green and Barren played in the semifinals. And Barren beat Franklin Simpson on Tuesday night by 41 points. So I think that holds true.
So what's the chances of somebody upsetting one of those 2 teams?
Well, at this point, zero by what we've seen. I mean, that would be just the truth of the matter. Nobody's really shown up and proven that they can even play close to them right now.
Well, who are some of the players that you would like to see in this tournament?
Well, I think Abby Varney's had a great season. Katie Murphy, I think, is one of the ones on the girls' side. She's got to have a big run in the postseason. I mentioned the younger players for Barren, and then for Bowling Green, Sanaya Shelton and Bailey, and of course Meadow Tisdale. They've gotten a little bit out of Campbell this year, but those three are really the key to what happens there on the regional level. But also in the district, you've got Jaylee Steenbergen, who's played really well for Allen County. They have a couple of young guards, Nazer and Moss, I think is her name. And then, of course, for Glasgow, you've got the three seniors, Mia Cassidy, Cadence Burd, Ashton Botts. They all probably have to have big nights. And Warren East right now, they don't really have a standout player. They got some young players that they're hoping can blossom for them.
We're going to talk about the boys' side this time. James, what do you foresee happening in this district tournament coming up with Glasgow, Barren, Warren East, and Allen County?
Well, it's kind of the end of the season's gotten a little bit fascinating because Barron's a 1 seed. They went 5-1 in the district. They split with Warren East, but Warren East lost the first game earlier in the season in overtime to Glasgow. But Warren East has been playing a lot better lately. Glasgow's been playing a lot better lately. I think Barron's been playing a lot better lately. The odd ball out really is Allen County. They got Turner, who's a good player, but they're talent-wise, they're not at the same level as the other three. So that 1-4 matchup is never a given. I believe Warren Cunningham's team upset the 1 seed when they'd only won 4 games one year in the first round. So that's never a given. But you would expect that Barren Allen game to be kind of a chalk outcome. But, man, we don't know what that Warren East Glasgow game is going to look like.
Outside of the district, it's really not a lot of conversation. Bowling Green played Warren Central overtime last week. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that there's not a dark horse per se, but I think not just the regional tournament, but the state goes through Warren Central.
Man, when you've got a team like them and your probably best player, you don't really need him to do a whole lot in Cade Unseld, that tells you how good your team is. I mean, you got a 6'6" wing who could be, I refer to him as Jalen Rose when I tell people about him because he can do everything, and you don't really need him to because that's how much talent you have on that team. And so that's, to your point, that's why everything goes through Warren Central. And yes, Bowling Green played them to overtime, and a lot of times those games are close because those
rivalry
teams know
games.
each other so well. They play against each other all the time, not just during the season but in off season. But I would be shocked if anybody, when we get down to the brass tacks of it, is 15 points within Warren Central in the 4th region. That includes Bowling Green, just because when Warren Central decides to really play, as we saw over Christmas, they lost the game, then they came back and won the next 2, I think by 25 or 30 points.
You was there. How good you've been around, Tony, you've watched George Rogers Clark, you've watched some of the best teams in the state for the last 10 years. How good do you think this Warren Central team is?
I think this Warren Central team is one of the best I've seen. They're very entertaining. Of course, they play above the rim. So that's always great to watch. Kate, the Unseld kid, what can you say about it? It's almost, a lot of times, it seems effortless, but you can tell how hard he works. So I'm very interested to see what they do.
I mean, and when you talk about Warren Central, of course you talk about Unseld, but you can't leave out Amari Glover. Mm-hmm. You can't leave out Chappelle Whitney. You can't leave out I call him Marmar Walkup. Those guys are they're on a whole different level. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Glover. I mean, his family's from
Glasgow.
From Glasgow. So he's got a little local connection. I know his aunts and cousins and whatnot have been down there supporting him, Bree Glover being one of his relatives.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, but going back to what we said, I mean, Warren Central just looks so dominant right now.
Who were some of the other players that you think are standouts?
In the region?
In the region.
You got to talk about MJ Wardlow from Bowling Green. MJ Wardlow, we actually covered him. I don't know if you remember this when we covered the All-Star game down at Bowling Green Junior High. He was the MVP of the game. That kid just gets better every time I watch him play.
Yeah, and you got Isaiah Andrews at Warren East. You got Eli Brooks at Barren County. Those guys have had outstanding seasons as well.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with you guys shortly.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It Sports Show. Trevent Hayes here with James Brown and Barren County Trojanet head coach Piper Lindsey. Coach, we're going to go over some things with the district preview coming up, but I just wanted to give a quick comment about the game on Monday night. I got to come and watch you guys play Bowling Green. And I was telling James earlier, a few free throws away, and I really feel like you guys could have pulled off the upset.
Yeah, we were right there. We played with them for, 30 minutes of the 32. Of course, had some lapses there towards the end, like you said, some missed free throws. Early on, we missed some layups, so we kind of took that into consideration and had a couple just defensive lapses towards the end. I thought our game plan was really well. We did a good job as far as I think they only hit 4 threes, which was kind of what we had in mind. We wanted to protect the paint. Obviously some offensive boards got us, but all in all, we know we can compete with them. It gave us a good challenge, so it kind of gives us an idea where we are.
You guys are back-to-back what should have been tough games. I mean, the Bowling Green game, obviously, but Franklin Simpson, you guys played them on Tuesday night, and they were right there with you guys in terms of rankings, but you guys rolled through Franklin Simpson. Did that outcome kind of surprise you?
Well, I just thought we played really well. Defensively, we were in the right spots. Of course, we made shots. I think that kind of makes a difference. It's crazy, the outcome, what happens, and what changes things when you do hit shots. Abby Varney obviously was on fire, but they all were. I think we shot 60% in the first half, and when you do that, good things happen. And things kind of seem to go your way. But like I said, defensively, we were solid. They didn't even hit a 3 against us, so that was another bonus. I just thought, all in all, it was a great team effort.
You guys are a couple of weeks away a week and a half away from the 15th District Tournament. 2 games on that Monday night over at Warren East. You guys will be playing the home team, Warren East. You've played them twice. Beat them pretty handily both times, although I think the first game you struggled a little bit offensively against them. But what do you think are the keys for you guys to be successful in that knockout round?
Yeah, well, like you said, the first game we played them, we came out early and we were up 10, 15 points. And they just kind of creeped back in. They make you play chaotic. One thing we've got to do is we got to take care of the basketball. That's one thing we've been talking about these last few weeks, and is making every possession count. Especially defensively. We can't have, like I said earlier, lapses or anything like that. Not that you have to play perfect. You don't ever have to play perfect, honestly, to win a basketball game, but you got to be solid. And, defensively, like I said, is going to be one thing. It hurts us with losing Macy Lockhart. Of course, we've kind of had to play with her for pretty much the entire 3/4 of the last part of the season. And but regardless, I think our guard play is solid, and that's one thing that we're going to obviously have to keep happen.
You mentioned the loss of Macy Lockhart. That happened during the Christmas tournament over at Allen County, Scottsville. And to me, the first week or 2 weeks without her, it looked like you guys were really struggling to figure out what you wanted to do on offense. But the last couple of weeks, it looks like you guys have finally found that identity. Is that how it's worked for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It did take us a little while. I mean, when you take a kid out that was, 5'9", 5'10", our biggest size kid, which I know that's not saying a lot, but she played a lot bigger than what she was. But we had to, kind of move some kids around and play some kids in different positions. I mean, Katie Elmore has really stepped up lately, and Katie Gerald's two sophomores that they've had experience, but not this kind of experience. They kind of have more of a role play maybe last year. And this year, I think they've kind of developed a little bit more skill and maybe are more comfortable with those spots. But yeah, that's kind of I think it's taken a little bit, but I really do think that we're playing well in the right time.
Yeah, you entered with only two seniors to start with, one of them being Macy Lockhart and the other one Addison Smith, who you more or less call upon to be a defensive stopper more than anything else, and maybe a ball handler sometimes. What kind of role is she taking on with Macy having to come out?
Well, Addison Smith has really come on these last few weeks, like you said, defensively especially. But now, if we can get 5-6 points out of her, that's great, because she went through a spurt where she wasn't even looking to shoot.
Right.
And we kind of make her understand, be a threat. Make them guard you, make them do something. Give me a reason to play it, kind of thing. And she honestly has done that these last couple of weeks.
I did notice she's been attacking the rim a little more too, considering she's 5'4", 3", something like that.
5'3", pushing it with shoes on, and maybe adding a couple inches. But but that was like our thing against Bowling Green. I mean, she was one that went in and tried to attack, and heck, they called a couple fouls. And that's all we need from her, and make some free throws. And so, but yeah, like pesky defender, if she can kind of play within herself, she'll help us out.
Well, Coach, we definitely appreciate you stopping by and talking to us. Concerning the upcoming district tournament, we want to wish you luck, and hopefully, if you guys make it out of the district, good luck to you in the region. Welcome back to Tell Me About It. Trevent Hayes here with James Brown and Barren County Trojan head coach Warren Cunningham.
Warren, I got a question for you. All right. You guys are the 1 seed in the 15th district. You only had the 1 loss to Warren East in the second meeting. You opened the district tournament against Allen County Scottsville. Turner's a little bit of a problem. I think the first meeting he did cause you guys some problems. The second meeting you guys kind of took care of him pretty handily. What are the keys for you guys to get off to a good start in that first round of the district?
I think it's the same thing that it always is. We got to continue to guard well, because he is a really good player. He played especially well in the first game, and he's had, I think if you look at their games over the course of the season, he's played better and better as the year's gone on, and he's a good shooter. He can play off the bounce a little bit. So it always starts, especially with us, with making sure that we guard well and that we rebound. If you do those things, then put yourself in position to win, and that's where it certainly starts, is on the defensive end and making sure that we rebound the ball.
And that first district game is always a nail biter, no matter what the quality of the teams are, especially in the 15th. And with Warren East added this year, I'm sure that makes things even more interesting as the season went along. So what are the keys to kind of be successful in those games, in terms of like getting your guys to maybe not be too uptight?
Right. Well, I think you try to approach that game the same as you do the others, but everybody knows it's different. I mean, coaches know that, players know that. But we do talk about throughout the season of trying to approach every game like it's that one. And then when you get to that point, it's not any different, because our approach and the way we prepare is not going to be any different. And we try to get that thought over to our guys over the course of the season and say we got to prepare for each one like it's that one. And then when you get there, it's not that big of a difference. It's always going to be a difference. There's going to be some nerves because if you get there and you lose, it's over. And with being the 1 seed, there comes some pressure with that. That's just part of it. That's part of winning sometimes. And it's important that we handle that the right way, and our coaches and players do.
I've gotten to watch you guys play several times this season, and everybody going into the games, everybody knows that Eli Brooks and Nate Miller are kind of the two premier players per se. But I actually got to watch the Ogles kid, and I wasn't aware that he was the state high jump champion. Who are some other kids on your team that can come in and give you a spark when maybe the two that are used to giving you all the work? And
Carson Beckham's had a really good year for us, shooting the basketball, and that's really been a big key for us, is his ability to make perimeter shots. It really helps us with some. Everybody knows Aiden and Eli are going to be really involved in the offense, and they've had two They've had really consistent years scoring and rebounding, but we got to have some other guys. Two guys aren't going to get it done, and Carson's had a really good year, and we really need his perimeter shooting. You look at the games that we've probably played our best in, he's probably made 2, 3, 4 threes. Sometimes he made 6 of the night at Greenwood, and we won by 3, and we needed every one of them. So he's had a really good year. Our two guards in the backcourt, Bray Bewley and Tate Spillman, have had a good year, not from the perspective sometimes of scoring, because they don't score a whole lot, but as far as handling the ball and guarding and getting the ball where they need to go, they've both done a really good job of that. You mentioned Taylor. It's given us good minutes off the bench, and after that it's been a variety of guys that have helped us in different games, whether it be Mason Bunch or Graham Hall or Connor Stewart, Waylon Clemens, Blaine Watson. We've had a lot of different guys off the bench in different games, depending on matchups and scenarios, as far as giving us some good minutes.
Going back to the Eli and Aiden combo there, I mean, they basically have been your two leading scorers in just about every game, but I kind of wanted to point out a game that I saw on Monday night when you guys played Bowling Green. And I thought maybe that's the best game Eli Brooks has played all season, because the level of competition was high and it looked like he actually elevated to that level. Do you see him kind of peaking right now at the right time this year?
Yeah, I think so. And Eli has worked really hard. And like you said, it's probably his best game, especially against a quality opponent like Bowling Green. But he got the ball to the rim, finished, and made a lot of really good plays. But he's having a great year for us, and he's learning. You know, it takes some time to learn, because as we go into the season, all of our guys were in different roles. Mm-hmm. Eli and Aiden both had been very, very much a complementary role in the past, and they had to take on different roles, and it takes some time to adjust to that. But I think he's playing his best, and I think our team is headed in that direction too.
Thank you for coming in, Coach, and good luck to you for the rest of the season, and especially as the district tournament starts.
Thank you guys for
having
me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Warren.
Thank you, James.
Hi, this is James Brown. Welcome back to Tell Me About It. We are here to talk to Caverna High School boys basketball coach Steve Barker in his first season with the Colonels. But you guys are rolling along pretty well so far. Had a pretty good season so far. What do you think's been the key to your success this coach?
Well, I think for the most part, all these I have a young team, and they've bought in. They understand that the coaching staff, myself, and my other two assistants I really care about them as a kid. You know, it's not all about wins and losses. It is, but at the same time, these boys need to know that you care about them as individuals, and I think they realize that, and I think they appreciate it, and they've laid it out on the line for us this year.
You mentioned you have a young team. I mean, you're kind of leaning on, at this point, 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and 1 senior, right?
Yeah. I'll talk about our freshmen first. Jalen Crane, I think, I've got him, I think, one of the top point guards in the region. Very quick, he has a ton of experience as a freshman, played some his 7th and 8th grade year, and that's always helpful. And then the 2 twins, I've got, I call them twins.
I think everybody does.
Twins, their numbers are 2 and 4. I call them twin 2 and twin 4. But they, they're football players, and they're physical and they're strong. And when people see them, they don't realize that they are freshmen. And very physical players. And then we jump to Dez. Dez is a junior. Dez Rowlett, and he had a nice night last night. He hit 6 threes last night for us in Somerset, and then we go to Meek Katir. He a senior, another one with a ton of experience, and so they've all blended in, and we've had a really nice season.
Yeah. Now you guys have the district tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. I believe you're playing Greene County in the first round. Beating them both times you played them this year, if I'm not mistaken. What are the keys to being successful in that first round game, which is the elimination game?
It is the elimination game. You know, all these every coach you talk to, that's probably the most important game of the year. And I've been on both sides of wins and losses in districts across the state, and those are huge. And held at fantastic facility. I'd never seen Hart County before till we played over there this year. What a beautiful place to play. And, we were successful there. I like the fact that we're playing on a neutral floor where we don't have to play Hart at Hart.
Right.
That was one thing I was really concerned about because they do play well in that building. Sweeping green this year, we played them real early, and then we played them about 3 weeks ago, and played well both places. And unfortunately we had our floor was ruined over Christmas break with a burst pipe, and so we've had to play at the elementary school, and that was a little different probably for Green too because they had never played in the elementary gym before, and we jumped on them pretty quick, and but they've been playing really well. So we're gonna have to be ready and be prepared.
I'm curious. I know that you have a number of young players on your team who will be who play big roles for years to come, and I'm curious how you work to bring them along as opposed to some of the older ones who have a lot more experience.
Right. Well, the thing you have to be careful of with young players is in the NBA they call it game slippage. And what they mean by that is you play so much that you kind of lose your skill. That sounds funny, but that's why the NBA, they still practice. They don't practice as much because they are the best players in the world. At this level, at the high school level, yes, these boys are skilled and they're athletic, but they will lose ball handling, passing ability, shooting abilities, and so you try to touch on those things every day in practice. Even though, about January, you kind of back off a little bit from 2-hour practices, but what we try to concentrate on are those fundamental things daily that we touch on, that we have these guys work on so they don't lose that skill from just playing games.
Coach Steve Barker, I want to thank you for joining us here on Tell Me About It. Thank you for talking to us about your team and the upcoming district tournament. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It. Trevent Hayes here with James Brown, Glasgow Scotty coach William Buford. Coach Buford, your first year at Glasgow. District tournament's coming up. Big win last night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are some things that you've seen on the positive end from the beginning of the season to last night?
It's been a total transformation, in my opinion. Coming from not having a bunch of kids or players that had a lot of varsity experience to the maturation of J.C. Walbert and Jarek Martin, to the maturation of even younger players like Josiah Driver, and just our whole Rico Crowder and our whole collective has been bigger and better as the year has progressed. So that's super huge in my opinion as far as where we started at the beginning and where we're at this particular moment.
When you look at like the district tournament coming up, I asked you about how you're going to deal with Warren East, but what are some of the things as you get closer, you're a week and a half away from that tournament, what are some of the things you're doing with your team to try to get them prepared?
We work every day getting better. And at this particular point in time, it's not about any other team. It's about your team. And I don't focus. We go over scouting report and who does this and who does that. But at the end of the day, it's about, are you willing to, man on man, are you willing to do what it takes in order to stop your person from doing what they do best? And if you can win your job, and as Bill Belichick says, just do your job. If all I've asked you to do is play defense, then play defense and make layups. Play defense and make open shots. Play defense and pass the ball. Just do your job. That's it. And do your job to be a superstar in your role. That's all I ask you to do. And if you can do that, I'm fine. Win, lose, or draw, I'm fine with that.
So, I know you started at Glasgow, finished at Warren Central, had a lot of success at Warren Central. How are the people accepting that mentality that you brought to Glasgow?
the kids wise, I think you can see a difference as far as the way that they play. Like, we haven't always come out on the top end of everything. We've had some close games, and we've had some games we felt like, man, if we hadn't turned the ball over so much, if we hadn't missed so many free throws, if we would have rebounded. It's been one of those years where it's like one thing away where we haven't put a full game together. But I'd rather put a full game together at the end of the year than at the beginning. But as far as the mentality, I think kids-wise, that's all I'm worried about, is that my players understand, and it's happened from the lower level, from our freshmen. If you watched our freshmen play, and you watch our JV play, and then you watch our varsity play, it started first with our JV players. They bought in first. My freshmen and sophomores, they bought in, diving on the floor, loose balls, and they really saw the energy that it brings in playing hard and giving all of yourself for your teammates and for your team. That's going to pay off in the end. So when they bought in, it was like they would start pushing our older kids. And then our younger freshmen were like, well, I'm not going to get on the floor if I don't do this. And they were expressing that to them. So you're talking about like a kid like Cam Bull and Landon Minton and, of course, Jarek Martin. But Landon Minton and Cam Bull and Cameron Pippen and Jeremiah Moore, like those kids are competitors. They don't like to lose. They hate to lose. So they'll do whatever. And even in a loss, they're mad. They're mad. I shouldn't have turned the ball over. I shouldn't. It wasn't. Well, you did this and you did that. It was all about I should have done better, and I'm going to do better next game. And I think that's where it kind of clicked, and you start seeing, yeah, okay, these kids are getting it. They're getting it, but they're getting it from a younger level. So as long as they come in and compete, it's going to be a whole different ball game. I mean, I brought up an 8th grader, and just for the simple fact that he's a very talented young man, Jalen Bradley. Super talented. Is he ready yet? Maybe not, but his competitiveness, where he goes at JC and Jarek and Zach Poor, he's not going to back down. So that's what I want, because I can get the skill set together. I'm going to put in the work to get them right. So the skill set's going to come. But do you have the drive to be the best you can be every single day, all day, every time you step in the gym, every time you step on the court, no matter who you're playing and how old they are? You know, are you going to compete on that level in order to get to the next level you want to? That's huge for me. And that's huge for our program to get those kids to go to college in basketball. Because I can't even remember the last person that went to college from Glasgow after Brandon Stockton, you know what I'm saying, just to play ball. And I plan on changing that. That's huge for me, because you can be from here, and I'm a testament that you can come from Glasgow and go somewhere and play basketball. And Brandon is also at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. What were your expectations for this team at the start of the season?
My expectation was, like, of course, better than what we were, because I believe in our kids, and almost to a fault. So anybody I put on the floor, I believe that we're gonna win, and we're gonna compete at a high level. Now, did they come out the way I thought it was? No, but at the same time, it came out how it was supposed to come out. You know, the struggles that we went through early, we're not going through those same struggles now. So that's the big thing, is that my expectations really don't matter. It's the expectations that we have going forward through the culture, building the culture, and then the wins will come.
All right. Coach Buford, we appreciate you stopping by and speaking with us today. Good luck to you in the rest of your games and, of course, in the district tournament. Thank you guys for being with us again. Trevent Hayes, James Brown, and Coach Kirkpatrick, the Glasgow Lady Scotties. First of all, Coach, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you all for having me.
All right.
You guys have got off to a hot start this season. You guys are winding down, 4 games left here. One of them's a district game, which is awfully late for a regular season district game. How did this wind up being the next to last week of the season? Do you know?
It was scheduled that way. Class A kind of pushed the Warren East game back, so it worked out perfect. But no, I'm not sure. I just got it that way.
You inherited that game.
I did.
As you get ready, in the end, this game is meaningless in terms of that last game on Friday against Allen County Scottsville, because you're going to turn around and play them again a little over a week later in the first round of the district tournament. So I guess the first part of that question is, what are you looking for from Friday night's game?
Well, it's been a while since we've played them, and, our schedule's been so packed that all we've seen is, film on them, so we've not got to see them in person. They got their point guard back. Morris actually went down against us as well, so seeing how they how they've regrouped and came together as a team, and how we can match up with them and what we need to do to get ready for district is going to help out.
Yeah, because that first meeting you guys were down, and then I think you put in 3 younger players and rallied to come back to win the game.
Yes, they made some huge plays that I think we were down 7. I could be wrong. It's been a minute, but we were down 7 and made a big run with some younger kids as well as some older kids. So that was a big momentum change for us. Now,
Looking forward to the district matchup, what are the keys do you think will be to success for your team in the district?
We've had a lot of conversations with the girls the past few weeks. Some games we've just let slip, and we've started off rocky and rough, and we kind of just kick our own self. Meaningless turnovers, just throwing the ball, not game-like shots. But once we figure out the kinks and work stuff out, and we've not had many practices and stretches, we've had to play back-to-back games. Warren East was one with ice in the Class A. So once we get us back on the right page, that's a huge part of our game.
Is that kind of what, after you get past this Friday, Saturday, next week you have a couple of games, but then you have basically a 3-day window before the district tournament starts. During those practices, do you start working on trying to get more precise about what it is you guys want to execute?
Yeah, we've talked about going back to the fundamentals, kind of backtracking, not really backtracking, but just the stuff that seems meaningless has to come back. Meeting the passes, ripping through. Don't just stand there and hold the ball out in front of you. Just small stuff that they don't realize they're doing until we get to watch that film on us.
Mm-hmm. Trevent?
Well, Coach, I know this is first-year coach,
Yep.
correct?
Yes, sir.
4th Region Coach of the Year.
Yes, sir.
At the beginning of the season, did you think that you would be where you are now?
I didn't. I knew what I had. I got to coach these girls the past 3 years as well as some middle school. But, when I came in, I knew we was going to change a lot of things, and the girls bought in, and they've responded well to a new coach, new change. So I'm proud of them. Some games, our record doesn't really show how great they can be and how great they are. But, we go in spurts. Some spurts are great. Some spurts, they kind of backtrack a little bit. But I'm very proud of them.
A lot of programs will not play younger kids if you have upperclassmen on the team. How important has your younger class, your middle schoolers, how valuable have they been to you this season?
Oh, they've been huge, and some kids have not got that much playing time experience. Practices, they're pushing their kids in practice. They push the older girls. I said at the beginning of the year, once we're all in here, we don't separate by grades. I don't have 7th graders, 8th graders, freshmen, so on. I have one big varsity team, and that's pushed us to get better. It could be any given night someone comes in off the bench and gets us huge minutes. So as long as we stay connected, stay as a team, that's what's most important to us.
James and I were talking earlier, outside of your seniors, I've watched your team play a couple of times, and I'm really impressed with the athleticism of Cynthia Austin.
Yes.
How often does a Cynthia Austin come around?
Well, whenever I played Glasgow, I had all kind of Cynthia Austins, and they'd wear us out. But no, she doesn't realize how special she is and how special she will be. We remind her every day, as athletic as she is, and when she wants to turn on, we got to make sure that knob stays turned on the whole game, and it goes in spurts, but she's still young, so that's a positive, and sky's the limit for her.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you stopping by. Again, congratulations on being named the 4th Region Coach of the Year.
Thank you.
Good luck to you in these next 3 or 4 regular season games that you have, and good luck to you in the district tournament.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back. Trevent Hayes here with James Brown and Coach Justin Line, the head basketball coach at Hart County High School. Coach Line, first of all, we want to thank you for coming on the show with us.
It's good to be here.
Tell me about it here at Glasgow EPB, Channel 6, the local sports source. And what we're doing on our first show is we're kind of doing a preview of all the district tournaments in the area, Glasgow and Barren, and then, of course, Caverna and Hart. So Before we get into the district tournament, you played Monday night and Tuesday night, and you're coming off 2 big wins. What kind of momentum is that going to give you heading into the district tournament?
You know, we're starting to get healthy. We're playing good basketball. We speeded up our pace. Now that I have a few bodies back, we're able to play the pace that we've wanted to play basically the whole year. But the most important thing, I believe, is we're passing the ball better again. We've kind of been stagnant over the last week or so. Our assist totals have been low in the last 2 games. We've had 38 total assists, and that's one of the reasons why we're scoring the points that we are.
Coach Barker was in earlier. Of course, LaRue County is not only the favorite to win the district, but now they become one of the favorites to win the region. They beat some really good teams. You guys are going to play them in the first round. How do you feel going into that matchup, playing at home against LaRue?
I mean, we're excited to play at home for sure, and hopefully by then we're going to be at full strength. You know, we weren't at full strength when we played them at their place. And this time of year, you just never know what will happen, but we're hoping to go in there on a 6-game win streak, very similar to last year going into the district tournament, even when we were the lower seed. And we really stepped up on the court in the first quarter of the district tournament and set the tone, and that's what we're looking to do at our place.
Speaking of your team, I know you have some upperclassmen.
Sure.
I followed you guys. Of course, I follow all sports, but Jacob Shoulders, you know, he's a kid that I learned in football. He doesn't say much, but his work ethic in football is crazy. What about basketball?
Crazy would probably be putting it nicely. He's the hardest working kid that I have ever been around, and I've been around a lot of hard working kids. I've got him in class, and another freshman was joking to him. So when you go home after you're done with basketball, like, what do you do in your free time? They were talking about video games or whatnot. He goes, I go back and shoot some more basketball. And they looked at him like, what? and then but a kid who has no sports whatever, he said, well, no wonder you are doing what you're doing as a freshman. And it was like, man, he gets it, and this kid doesn't know anything about sports, but he gets it because he understands the commitment that he has shown, and he doesn't know anything about it. But the commitment's there, and really you're starting to see a few other players buy into it too because they see where it's getting him, and they've kind of latched on. So,
outside of the 18th district, who are some other players in the well, not just outside of the 18th district, outside of your team?
Sure. Who
are some players in the 5th region that you think can make an impact during a stretch or a run during the regional tournament?
Well, we can just go through your teams. Jalen Crane is beyond impressive with the ball in his hands, and their size across the board. You could name all of them. The Twins have come a long way, and then Meek is just a force in and of itself. But Jalen creates the space for those bigs to work. You know, we were forced to double him in so many ways that there was always a big on the backside, and they were efficient. They're efficient at putting the ball in the hole on the backside, and that is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why they've been so successful lately. Then if you go to Green, Blakeman is obviously their horse, but every single one of their guys can come off the bench and make a three. And when you've got guys that, 8, 10 deep that can come in and you still have to guard them at the three-point line, it's complex. And then Daniel Allen, in my opinion, is the best player in the region.
All right, thanks. Well, Coach, we appreciate you stopping by and giving us a little preview, and we hope to have you back on the show again. Good luck to you.
Thank you all for doing this. We're excited for just our whole district getting to see, about these kids and learn more about them. So thank you all for this.
Well, it's no problem. Good luck to you at the district tournament. I think you've got a few games before then. I know you play Glasgow Saturday.
Yeah, we got a game tomorrow at Russell County, Glasgow Saturday, and then we finish up with 2 home games, Monroe and Adair, next week.
All right. Thanks again, and we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll have John Burd from the Hart County Lady Raiders.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hard-working, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Once again, we're back. Trevent Hayes, James Brown, and Coach John Burd, head coach of the Hart County Lady Raiders. Coach Burd, first we want to thank you, as we have all the coaches, for taking time out of your day to come and do this interview. Before we get started into the preview, just wanted to take a minute and let you kind of give the audience a chance to understand the value and who Dia Bradley really is.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. High school sports a lot of times doesn't get the press, and you all doing this is, it's really appreciated. But Dia Bradley, definitely, in my opinion, of course I'm biased, but she's one of the better players in the state, not only in the state, but in the region, of course. But the young lady just brings a talent to the floor that makes the whole team better. And, she, and I've said it, she got 2 or 3 games where she had several rebounds, and she could have had triple doubles if we had other ladies to step up and make some shots to get those assists up there. But she does a really good job. She comes to practice ready to practice, and she's a leader in that aspect, and just an overall talent. And she's pushed at home. Parents support her well. If there's something to be done, they'll do it. Coach Bradley, he helps me, and we snickered in the locker room one time. She got a little bit of tweak of the ankle, and I don't know if it was a tweak, it swelled up, but and I said, girls, be ready because you may have to step up. Dia may not be able to go, and Paul immediately just snickered under his breath real loud. but that's the mentality that they have. She's going to play. She means a lot to our program, the school. She's been voted homecoming queen, princess, you name it. It's not just a basketball person you get here. It's an overall person that is a really, really good person in the classroom, out in the community, and on the floor.
Now, the district and the region are all being held at Hart County, is that correct?
The boys region is. Yeah, we kind of, Taylor County got in a rotation, so I think Taylor County's got the regional, but we do have the district.
Coming into the season, what were the expectations for your team?
Coming in, we were coming off the heels of being one of our better teams, and then we had a young lady that tore her ACL, and that was a big blow for us. But we still had expectations of, of course, you always want to say, we want to win the district, and then we want to go in and make some noise in the region. And that's always been the case, because when you have your leader being out there of Dia Bradley, she stirs the drink pretty well and gets everybody involved. We just got to have those others to knock down shots and defend and do those things. So we were pretty excited about playing in the second, third round of the regional tournament.
And then this is the knockout game, that first round game. No matter who you play, and you guys know each other so well through the year and years a lot of times. What are the keys to being successful in that knockout game? Well,
one thing about it is being focused and know what you're going out to do, and focus is what I try to tell them, and use the big 3 E's, and that's energy, effort, and enthusiasm. And if I can get those young ladies to bring that every night, and they'll probably laugh if they ever see it, but I stress that so much, and they just look at me and laugh, and I'm like, you watch Metcalfe County last night, they brought it, and we didn't, so we got the result of that one.
All right, Coach, we really appreciate you stopping by. Good luck to you in the tournament, and hopefully if you make it to the regional tournament, good luck to you, and we'll be looking forward to having you on soon.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in with us on our first episode of Tell Me About It. We're excited about where this broadcast is going to go. We're excited about getting these athletes out. We want to remind you that you can watch us every Thursday on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel, as we cover the latest and greatest in all local sports.
I'm James Brown with 104thescore.com. You can find episodes of this and bonus content on our site and online at the Glasgow EPB Channel, cable YouTube channel.
And I'm Tony Johnson with KY Sports TV. You can follow us online at KY Sports TV on social media.
Thank you again, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys again next week.